One of the questions that I get fairly frequently is, how often do you need to rotate your pastures? And there's not a clear answer on that. And I should do another video just on parasite cycles and how long it takes for a parasite to hatch and then be able to infect your animal. But today's video is not about that. It's about how often you would have to change regarding forage and making sure that the forage is available. And as you can see right here, I've had the horses on this strip for about a month. And there's a clear difference between this side and this side of the fence. And I've done this on purpose. I've actually purposely overgrazed this because it's a test. I think of pasture rotation as like a really big science project. And one of the things is that the shorter forage actually has more nutrient, it has more sugars in it basically, so it can feed the sheep better. And they prefer it. You'll see they're always going to go to the areas where there's shorter grass over the longer grass. And the idea is that you really should do what's called mob grazing, where you run them through the area, a very small area, for 1 to 2 days and had them eat it down like this, really, really tight to the ground, to get rid of everything. It makes them eat the weeds, the good grasses, the bad grasses, everything, and then move them the next day. I'm not perfect, and I don't have the time really to do it every day. So I do it about every 3 to 4 days. And so because of that, they do still leave a lot. So I'm kind of using this strip as a test. Let's see how this recovers when I overgrazed it a bit. And so I purposely left the horses on here for a month. Horses are less susceptible to parasites, and so I can leave them on here a little longer without worrying about the parasite load on them. And let's see how this recovers. You know, luckily I have about 14 different areas of strips that I can use, and so I can do a test plot. You know, pasture rotation is not an exact science. It's a science project. So we'll see how this recovers. And then what I'm going to do is next week I'm going to move the horses back to the other side of the farm, and the sheep are going to come on here, and they're actually not going to go onto this strip. I'm going to let this strip recover. And they're going to go on to this very, very, very first strip. It's been probably 8 weeks since they've been on, which means the parasite load should be very, very low, which should help my lambs that are in somewhat of a vulnerable state right now. Some of them have been eating grass for a while, but some of the newer ones are just in their first month or two of eating grass. And so they are a little bit, if they did get parasites, their bodies can't fight it off as well as some of the older ones. And so it's really important that they're eating grasses that are high in the ground, because the parasites hang out in the bottom 4 inches of forage. And so what's going to happen here is that you see how much taller that is versus that. The parasites are going to be way down low in this grass. So I can get down here really low in that grass, but the sheep are going to eat the top portion of it. And so the parasites shouldn't get down into them. Now we also have some weeds in here. You know, I don't use 2,4-D anymore. I don't really need to, because the sheep are going to eat down these weeds when they come in. And so I haven't used 2,4-D for about, 3 or 4 years, which is great because it's better for the soil and the soil health, but it's also good for my health. You know, I'm not breathing in chemicals, so this has been much better. I still fertilize. I'm hoping eventually I don't have to fertilize any longer. But for right now, I haven't really put any other chemicals or other additives to the soil except for fertilizer. So this is the one that they're going to go into next. It's nice and tall. It should keep the parasite load low. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know.